Elaine Hausman, how are ya? Thank you so
Ed, good
much.
to see you. So good to be with
You
you.
too. Hey, you like my sign in the back?
Stay strong. I'm loving it.
Isn't it appropriate, right?
It's really wonderful.
Oh, good. So we're
It's
coming
really
today to
wonderful.
impart positivity. I know there's a
Yes.
lot of negativity going around, but I can't think of a better person to talk with. That is always, like
Uh,
I said, every time I talk with you, I literally feel like my cholesterol levels go down. You have this peace about you that is so contagious and so awesome.
and maybe your cortisol levels too.
Uh, Thank you. Okay, there you go. So those are the two things that you get. You get lower cholesterol by watching this video and lower cortisol levels. We're already winning. Look at this. We haven't even started. So thank you very much. So tell me, so much craziness has happened since. How are you dealing and mitigating this situation since you are the queen, my queen of video?
You are so dear. It's been a continuum for me.
Hmm.
So much of my work lends itself to the visual because
Yeah,
what I do is in here.
right. I love it. That's
You
right.
know,
We're
it's
in
in
here.
here. This is where I live,
Right.
and maybe more so than ever. And it's actually just been growing. There was a time where we were in person and recording together with clients, and that's shifting, that's changing. And I'm refraining from saying the word pivot because I think in about 3 months, no one's going to want to say that word anymore. But things are definitely fluid and changing. But this has been my world for a while. So there's a continuum going on.
Yeah. Thank you for that perspective. Yeah, I think we've all been introspecting quite a bit, having to stay home. The positive side of that is that it forces us really to go within, right, and to rethink things, and maybe I call it the COVID reboot our businesses and our lives, to look at things that haven't been working, to change them, to make them work. The wonderful thing about the human race is that we've gone through a lot of challenges, and yet we've always come out the other side winning every single time. And I think that that's an important thing to always remember, that no matter what it's been, whether it's been Hitler or it's been other pandemics, we've always come out the other side winning. And we unities always seems to be the common ingredient that we all unite. I love the fact that the word community has the word unity already built into it. And so we just have to come together, and we're seeing a lot of that, right? We're seeing that
We,
joy. We're seeing also people going now to know their neighbors. We're seeing that human connection come back because we were built for it, right?
I've always enjoyed my neighbors, so this is a
Yeah.
continuum for me too.
Right, right, right,
But
right.
but I will add something that I think is interesting for video. If there is a time of reflection and going in, the nature of video is very intimate or can be very intimate.
Mm,
It can be a different kind of presentation than on a stage. It can be about drawing in and being very personal within this world. So, a little quieter time, a little reflection can be really a wonderful ingredient to add to video. So it doesn't have to be, hi, are you doing fine? Let me tell you what I got today. It's wonderful. If that's your
yeah.
brand, wonderful. But if it's not, and you by nature want to be a little quieter, video really serves you.
I never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right. You can be
There's a
very
difference
low
between
and you could be very intimate just in the setting of video.
it's so when you're on a stage, you are literally projecting yourself. You're trying to fill the room and every row up to the balcony. And in video, it's very different. There is a drawing in and a bringing closer because everyone's in the front row.
Yeah,
So it's
you're right.
different. It's a
You're
different
so correct.
dynamic.
Thank you for that perspective. And now, as we know, videos become all the rage, and everybody's discovered Zoom all of a sudden, even though they've been around for a long time, and their stock is up 30%. I think it's a fantastic thing that they're seeing. People are seeing this as a very, very cool and very useful tool moving forward to communicate.
a blessing. And
Absolutely.
I have to tell you something. I've been giving some Zoom meetings to people to help them get off the ground. How
Mm,
can I help you? And putting groups together. And I had a group yesterday, and it was so funny. One woman was sitting completely in the dark, and I thought, it's like the witness protection program when they interview you and they don't want you
right,
to know who you are.
right.
It was so funny. So it kind of brought home the very basics of video. Of you want to make sure you can be seen, and you want to make sure you can be heard. So you're sitting up to your computer and make sure the sound is up. But it was so
Yeah.
funny.
Well, and on that note, let's talk about this fear of doing video. Let's address that because it is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. And I think it's one of the major reasons why we haven't seen video really take off even more so than it already has, is because people are just afraid to get in front of the camera. So let's talk about how do we get over that? What are the things that we could be doing, self-talk or just whatever tools and tips you have to get over that? Because in my world is, look, everybody already knows what you look like. Like, I'm not doing this to look like Brad Pitt, clearly. I'm
Right.
doing this for
You,
content and to disseminate, right?
I love that. Um, it's okay to be who you are. It's
Oh,
really
permission.
okay.
I love it.
And it actually, there's something I've said publicly that may help. That when you come to video, prepare to be imperfect, because
Hmm.
that is where we find you. And that is where we meet you. Some of the concerns, some of the fears are uh, simply because you've never done it before. Now, the first day of kindergarten, kids went home crying. They were afraid too, but it all
Yeah,
starts somewhere. And then we
absolutely.
went through school and we blossomed or whatever happened in our life. But it all starts with the first step. And sometimes, if you're too afraid, there's a person like me to help, or there's another
Right,
person over there to help.
right.
Someone's out there to help. But you practice, you just fool around. And one of the things that I think produces the most fear is that anything you do is immediately going to be seen. No, you can practice all you want and never show a thing. But
That's
watch
a great point.
yourself. Yeah, watch yourself. See, am I making sense? What's my content like? Am I going on and on, or am I making my point? Uh, is my lighting okay? Can they hear me okay? If I'm back too far, am I getting room sound? Would I be much better with a small mic under my clothing to sound really professional and amplified? All those little things, just watch yourself. And I will add, whether it's me or someone else, I'm out there giving tips. They're free of charge. I'm giving them away. And I do believe there's things relevant to each person's issue that just might give them a little bit of a change in perspective and free them
Mm,
up a bit to be able to take that next step and an easier step and realize you look back, oh my God, I did that.
yeah, thank
And
you
it
for
wasn't
that.
so bad. I did
Yeah,
it.
thank you for saying that. And I'm a big believer that imperfection is the greatest ingredient to authenticity. You cannot be authentic unless you own your imperfection.
It,
None of us are perfect, and we will die imperfect, but in the pursuit of mastery.
you said the magic word because I think we confuse, when we say the word perfect or perfection, I think we're actually confusing it with mastery, because
Mhm.
perfection is actually, it's this preconceived notion of what we think the end is supposed to look like. But in and of itself, it's
Exactly.
finite. Perfection, I leave it to God. Perfection, if I think about perfection, it's already finite. It's deadly in video. But when I think about mastery, then there's this love that comes up of process and progress and achievement, and it's filled with possibility or
That's what I was going to
creativity.
see. The realm of possibilities all of a
The-
sudden blossoms
and
like crazy.
there
You have
you
a
go.
garden of possibilities.
Absolutely. And not to mention, our imperfections are what distinguish us from one another. And it's what makes us distinctive.
Absolutely.
So
You're
it's a kind of
absolutely right.
self-love, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It is self-love. Now, what are your thoughts about, do you think that there's going to be a greater migration from this hyper focus on technology back to the human connection? Because I really believe, and we've heard this many times by many people, that we were built to connect.
I am hoping, first of all, knowing what's happening and the reliance we need on technology, I mean, virtually and literally more than ever. What I'm hoping is there's going to be a really wonderful merger of really bringing more and more our humanity to
To the
that
technology
technology.
platform. Ah, yeah,
Uh,
the melding. I like
there's
that.
there's something that I've noticed in social media. We know whether it's an article or certainly in video, we know when, boy, that person is talking straight. I am listening. There's no punches being pulled.
Mhm.
It's great. I'm loving it. And then we know when we talk with someone and or we watch a video and no fault of their own, it's just a misunderstanding. They have become commercialized.
They're
And that's
glossy.
the part that generally makes many of us run in the opposite direction.
Yeah, that's true.
But I want to add something that I also noticed, because social media is more important than ever to us as we connect, just to feel human connection, and also as we grow our businesses. I've noticed something for quite a while, especially I have a real love of social media because I think for me, there's a lot of heart in it, a lot of heart. But I've noticed something about people, that there are either connectors or collectors.
Mm.
And you
Oh, wow.
find pretty early on, when someone asks you to be their friend, or you ask whatever, and there's a connection that you make, and maybe a day later, all of a sudden you're being sold something. Join my such and such. And I don't really have any judgment about it. I really just think, oh, this is interesting. You are different than me. I'm here to connect. You're here to collect. You are looking for the numbers game. And it's okay. I get it. But it's not where I live.
Mm.
I want to grow my business through here and here, but not by turning you into a number. I want that real interpersonal relationship where something grows very organically and we find out how we serve one another and how we can provide value for one another. So I've always found it very interesting who's who in that equation.
I think that is so powerful what you said. I got to tell you, it punched me in the chest because you're absolutely right. And I've never really framed it as connector versus collector, but you're absolutely right. And I think what happens is that those folks, they're not bad people. I think they've been conditioned inappropriately, where the formula is you focus on the right thing and the human connection, and the byproduct will be the collection, not the other way around.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Couldn't agree more. It's a meme. Meme. Write it
Yes,
down.
yes. It is. It is
Or we'll
100%.
co-write one.
We'll do one together. That'll be our next project. So, what are some of the kind of recommendations that you give to people when they're either seasoned videographers that are doing videos because they've done a lot of them, not because they're pros, or they're just thinking about starting out?
Wonderful thing you said. We are, I'm in the business of video, performance coaching. I'm here to help with what's going on inside here so that it speaks to who you are and what you do. Now, there's one thing I'm very clear on when I talk to people and help them along. We want to be seen, so we need light. We want to be heard. Maybe we need to be mic'd because, maybe you're giving a workshop and you're standing back further.
Yeah, that's true.
And you, of course, you want to have something to say and provide value. But we aren't here to be a videographer. We don't need to be cinematographers.
Yeah.
We want to do the best we can with what we've got. Don't focus too much on too many bells and whistles if you don't need to. The thing that you want to focus on is finding yourself in this frame, getting some comfort, knowing you've got something to say. And personally, I am about short and sweet because I have a big respect for people's time.
Yeah.
You want to hear more from me? You know where to find me. I've made it pretty clear. But this is bringing up something very interesting. We all want to be seen and heard if we're doing something on video. We want to get some views. And on Facebook, they will very clearly say you want your video 3 minutes. And for me, that really is based on the fact that they're talking about Facebook Live because they want you to have enough time on there for people to see the announcement that you're live and get on in there to be with you. So they want that time for entry. And I appreciate that. By the same token, if you're doing a video, you've recorded it, you're putting it up there for the public to see and not necessarily be interacting with. I'm a big believer in shorter. And I have so many people grateful to me that, oh, Elaine, you made a great point. And it was 1.5 minutes, that they can get value and get back to work. You want more? That's why there's a workshop. That's why there's a private group. So that's just a personal philosophy of my own, and even in a signature video on a website. Granted, you can have, the B-roll where you're showing something in between something you're saying.
Yeah, shots
so
of the Golden
could
Gate Bridge,
be
whatever.
longer.
Right.
Yeah, and it could hold our attention longer. But generally, if you're not doing that, and it's just you, what you do, and why I'm here, and how I see what I do, I still believe in under than 2 minutes, just because we want the gold. Please don't dangle a carrot. And then we want the gold. Give it to us.
Right.
And I'm a big believer. Let's give it.
Yeah, I love it. I love
Out
it.
of respect.
Out of respect. And on that note, thank you so much for being a connector and not a collector. And one of the books that I'm going to recommend everybody to read on that note, because it just triggered, is there's a book called Hanging Out for a Living. It is such a great book that really speaks loudly to this whole premise that Elaine just talked about being a connector and not a collector. You will be blessed by this book. It's so awesome. When I read it, I was like, wow, finally that voice that speaks to the focus that we should all have just in our lives in general and how to build relationships and be a connector. So how do people get a hold
far
of
beyond
you?
the borders of video?
Yes, for sure. And we're expounding that today. How do people get a hold of you?
I am Elaine Hausman, and I'm going to put my card up very close and see. Let's see.
There you go. Keep going. There you go. Right there. Perfect. There you go. That's how you can get a hold of her. I strongly recommend that you reach out to her if you're considering starting video, or you just want to improve your video skills. Who can't? I mean, I know I go to her for that. You know, I do a lot of videos, but by no means am I a pro at this. I just want to get the information out. But it's wonderful people like Elaine that help me get better at this in my pursuit of mastery. So stay strong and stay healthy, Elaine. It's always great to see you. Maybe we should do a series of these. But I
absolutely.
thank you so much for your very powerful content and information and kind-heartedness today, because it really makes a difference.
Ed, you are a pleasure to be with.
Thank you so much.
I'm thrilled to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You
Take
too.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.